the traffic was so great tonight. I'm here on time.
Actually here on time. Yeah. I'm waiting for you to do the old squash sound, like whooping or something.
I don't even know what that is. I mean,
Matt Abbott can do it. Can do one.
Who?
Matt Abbott.
Oh well. I think he's a member of like the
Southern Indiana.
Southern Indiana, like skunk apes.
The Sasquatch hunters. Skunk apes are in Florida.
Is that
Those
Florida?
are my people. Those are my people.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, I played on a softball team called the Skunk Apes.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 49th season of Coach's Corner. This is our first year doing the winter sports, and I've been having a good time with it so far. And when Chris is here, he seems to have a good time.
When the traffic is light.
When the traffic is light. He lives on Bexville Road. I mean, come on.
Well, the Amish sometimes stay out past dark.
Right, and that McDonald's, you go past McDonald's, it's just crazy.
Yeah. There's a house for sale right across the street from McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty cheap.
I thought it was. No, I guess that was a different one. I thought.
I don't know what you thought.
I don't know. Who knows on a moment-to-moment basis?
Right. Well, tonight we're going to do things a little bit different. We've got a couple of guests in-house tonight. I'm working on, and, I've got to apologize because I kind of slept on this. But my esteemed co-host over here reminded me that swimming is a winter sport, and it seems like our team here at Salem High School is breaking some records and doing some really good things. So I am working on getting a hold of Coach Jamie Walker for if she could call tonight, that'd be great. But if not, maybe I'll have her for next week. Make a couple quick announcements right quick before we jump into this. And we've got a couple of the Salem High School varsity wrestlers here tonight. Actually, they're two of our seniors and captains. So first announcement I want to make is tomorrow night, January 20th, Salem girls versus Charlestown at 7:30, and that'll be broadcast here on WSLM. The Eastern girls versus Scoutsburg at 7:30. Is that going to be broadcast on 1220?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Eastern versus Scoutsburg at 7:30, broadcast on WSLM 1220 AM. And then it looks like the West Washington girls versus Paoli at 7:30. Our printer's not working great.
And the greatest sport that we have in Washington County is our NSC Wrestling Championship. It's tomorrow night.
I've got the copy.
I know, but I'm so excited. I'm just so excited.
Listen,
I can't contain myself.
Okay, and then Friday, January 21st, Salem Boys at Corden, 7:30. That'll be broadcast here on 97.9 WSLM. The Eastern Boys versus Charlestown at 7:30. That'll be on 1220 AM. And then the West Washington Boys at Mitchell at 7:30. Saturday, January 22nd, Salem Girls at Mitchell at 1:30 p.m. And I'm sure you know that's going to be broadcast right here. Let's see. The West Washington Girls at Brownstown at 1:30. Salem Boys versus North Harrison at 7:30, and you tune in right here and you'll catch that. Eastern Girls at 7:30 at Silver Creek, and I'm sure that's going to be on 1220 WSLM AM as well.
Yep. And then real quick, on Sunday we've got an IU game in the afternoon and a Purdue game in the afternoon. And then right after that at 5 o'clock, I think it's at 5, the girls' sectional draw will be on.
Okay. So that's all going to be broadcast?
Yes.
Good deal.
So since the Colts are out of the playoffs, I'm sorry if they are. Do you guys actually, have any other teams that you can? Is it the Bengals or because they're still in it?
I think we can play all of them.
Can you play all of them?
Yeah, we'll have the Super Bowl on the radio.
Oh,
well,
awesome.
then,
awesome.
Sunday at 3, you ought to broadcast the only game that matters this
the
week.
one they're going to lose.
They're not going to lose.
Yeah.
They're not going to lose.
I'm pretty sure every broadcaster out there has said that the Buccaneers are actually going to get beat on Sunday by the Rams.
I'm sure they've said that, but they all can be wrong, and that's fine by me.
Well, and that's okay. I'm just saying.
What did I tell you? We got a good deal on a used goat, and we're going to use it.
Yes, this is true. Yeah.
Okay, so Bengals and Titans, who's going to win?
I'm saying Titans on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta
49ers and Packers.
Packers. I'm going for Packers.
Listen, if the 49ers win that,
oh my God,
you'll never live
I will never live this down ever.
So that group text will look good.
Then you're going for the Rams then against.
I'm going for the Rams. He's going for Tampa Bay.
You
Yeah,
know,
I know.
I grew up
He's
in
going
Tampa
for the-
Bay. I am definitely going for Tampa
He's
Bay.
going for Tampa Bay.
Then the Bills,
Patriots.
Bills and the Chiefs.
I'm gonna say the Bills on that.
Yeah,
one.
Are the
I'm
Chiefs?
gonna have to take the Bills
Are the
on that as
Chiefs?
well.
Are they still decent? I
They're,
mean, they
no,
really.
they're still pretty good, but I really the Bills.
Ask
they're
the
kind of one of those.
Patriots how good they are.
The Bills are kind of one of those teams. It's like you don't really pay attention to them much, and then it's just like, oh, they're there.
Well, you know what? In the last few years, the Bills have really started building back up and doing. A few years back they drafted Sammy Watkins, and I thought, oh, that's a great pick, but it kind of fizzled there,
because that's all they had.
And I thought, this could be a build up, and it took a few years, and they finally started putting in some good work, and I really like what they're doing now up there. So, hopefully all of our plans work out, but all y'all's feelings are going to be hurt
Yeah.
Sunday because the
Yeah,
Bucks are going to win.
Well, we have a group text that we and
Boy, I
we're
enjoyed-
constantly on each other. So yeah. And who? Okay, so what's the next game on there?
Should be it.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Because then that gives us. Well, no, it should. There should be.
Yeah,
Hang on a minute.
You
See,
don't
see
have-
the Cowboys. No, the Cowboys.
Cowboys
didn't
are
make
out.
it.
Cowboys gonna be. Yep, Cowboys
Sorry.
gonna
14
be.
seconds worth.
They can't win 2 games in a row.
Man, I
can
tell
they?
you what, that was the dumbest set of play calling I've ever seen.
Okay.
I'm going to be silent right now.
Jeff Medlock might be listening. He knows where.
Yeah,
he lives.
yeah. Those are the.
Yeah, that should
Okay,
have been.
all right.
There's 8 teams, and then they'll go to 4 teams
Yeah.
next weekend, and then they'll have the Pro Bowl, and then the Super Bowl. It seems like the Super Bowl's later, like a week later, but it's really.
Yeah, it's the 13th. Is that right? February 13th. You can
Yeah,
speak.
for some reason.
Israel Adesanya's fighting February 12th. Yeah, that was his big thing. He's like, I can't watch the Super Bowl because there's a fight on that night. I was like, whoa. They would not put a fight on the same night as the Super Bowl.
Well, considering you guys don't want to have a team in there, you don't need to worry
Yeah,
about watching.
Yeah. Listen, and even if the Packers go, I'm rooting for whoever's playing them.
Yeah, well, and I'm okay with it. 'Cause, I mean, I think honestly, in my prediction, this is my prediction. It's gonna be Packers and Bills. That's my prediction. So
I'm glad you said it out loud because
Yes.
And let's write
that
down.
way we know how to ridicule.
write that
Yeah,
down. Yes, write that down.
We don't have to write it down. I'm gonna remember
Well,
that.
well, I mean, I'm gonna remember that, but I'm just gonna say that's what I think. I'm predicting.
But
that. So-
listen,
and I'm not gonna predict the winner because
there's a thing. Me and my best friend Larry, every year in August, okay, before the first game, we always predict who's going to the Super Bowl. Guess who I called last year?
Tampa Bay.
And the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Guess who I'm calling it this year?
Well, Tampa Bay. Well,
And-
the Tampa Bay Patriots. Yeah, I mean, you know you're gonna pick them.
Just to show
Listen,
you.
I'm proud to be an American.
Oh,
At least we
yeah.
know it ain't gonna
Stick
steal
your day
from
job
me.
because you cannot sing very well at all.
This is
I
not a
heard
karaoke.
cat screeching over here and it sounded better.
This is not a karaoke show.
No.
Just to show you how the dates have changed. Yesterday was the 46th anniversary of Super Bowl 10, in which back in 1976, so that you don't have to do the math, but the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cowboys 21-17. And so it would. So the
And
Super Bowl
just
was.
so we're clear, Tampa Bay was an expansion team that year.
But anyway,
You're
that
welcome.
so they're like a month off. They've I guess added more games or something that.
Hey,
Right.
Just a little trivia here. Steve Young, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, right? Drafted by Tampa.
How long did he play there?
He didn't. He wanted to play baseball instead.
Yeah, if I have to play for Tampa, I would rather go bowling.
What, you don't like
bad,
Super
isn't
Bowl
it?
rings?
That is unfortunate.
You know, I have
that
a
is
funny story about Tampa Bay, though.
You don't have a funny story about it.
Yes, we do. So we got me and Tara got married, and we were going on a honeymoon. Well, we went on a cruise, and our cruise actually went out of Tampa, and this was in 1999.
So you went. That was the year I graduated.
Yeah. Well, I got married, so.
You know.
And we stayed in this little hotel right outside, and it wasn't even a hotel, it was a motel. And we got down there at like it was had to be like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we go to bed, and the alarm clock goes off at like 6:30, and it goes off for an hour and a half. The police banged on the door because our alarm clock was so loud, and we didn't wake up. But we woke up later on that afternoon.
What part of Tampa were you in?
Right there by the stadium. I mean, literally.
Yeah, that's not a good neighborhood.
Yeah,
Over Updale Mabry, no sir.
It was gigantic, and it was like there's nothing here, but like it was bad. It was like the west end of Louisville on steroids. It was horrible. Well, so we get up, and it's 4th of July. And so we get up, and the coolest fireworks I've ever seen come out of a stadium was out of Tampa Bay Stadium. It was so I give you props. They have some great fireworks.
So we have got the coolest stadium in the league.
It is cool.
We've got a pirate ship, and we shoot crap out of it.
Yes, there's that. Yes. Yes.
Pretty cool.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to get down to a little bit of business tonight. So our guests tonight are Nate Pierce Jr. and Blake McLaughlin over here. They're two of our senior wrestlers and varsity captains, and they decided. I decided they were coming in tonight because I can do that.
Yes. Yes.
And the teams had a hard hit here lately, and I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about my son, on the show and his troubles this season, and getting his head out of his butt and getting things going.
But we made a turnaround.
We have made a turnaround, but the first 2 meets that he was allowed to come back on get canceled due to COVID, and then we all get quarantined. Oh, was that?
We're not going to say who's to blame for that. But his initials are Blake McLaughlin.
Oh boy, say hi.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple questions, and I'll start with you, Blake. The thing about you guys is I've watched you guys grow. Especially him, but I've watched you grow since 3rd grade. I've coached you in some capacity since 3rd grade. And you guys are maturing as adults, and or as young men and becoming adults. Matter of fact, both of these young men that are sitting here are enlisted in the U.S. Army National Guard, and will be going to do their basic training in AIT this summer. So big props to you guys for that.
Huge, man. That's huge.
That's one thing that that's one piece of the puzzle. But what are your ambitions after high school? I know you guys are going to be in the National Guard, so you won't be full time, but there's always that option. What are your ambitions, Blake? What are you planning on doing?
So obviously start out with National Guard, but I now have to stay in a while because they just changed some rules and regulations, you could say, to where you have to be in a certain amount of time to go active duty. Because my plan after National Guard was to go active duty Army.
Right.
And after that, I got in there. I wanted to go back up and retake my ASVAB so I could get a higher GT score, which is your main score, kind of and try and get a higher GT score so I could become an Army Ranger. It's always been my dream to be an Army Ranger or some type of special forces.
Well, your MOS now is pretty prestigious.
19 Delta Cap Scout.
Yeah, and those guys are they're on the front line. So
yep, they are.
Props to you for that.
Yes, they very much are.
So
this helps. So with the wrestling, it actually helps with the hand-to-hand combat.
Oh yeah.
Well, and and that's the thing. That I felt like these two kids are made for what they're about to embark on. Me and Alex Gooch used to tease Nate all the time about one of these days you're going to be a great soldier. Because he's always been and this is not something that we taught. It was just something that he picked up on, and it was always there. He was always a yes sir, no sir kind of kid. Still hard-headed as all get out.
Except for when he deals with you. Now, when he deals with me,
that's not necessarily true. Because now in sports,
yes,
as coach,
yes,
he hates me.
Yes.
Yes. But that's a given. But at home, whenever I discipline him, it's yes or no sir. He's always been a great kid that way. Blake, you're the same way. I've noticed that over the years that you are not disrespectful kids, and you sometimes you guys have a hard time finding your voice, especially at, leadership role. But when you find it, you guys are the right guys for the job. So, they're grinning over here, so there must have been a good story. Probably not something you want to tell right now. Okay, all right. So Nate, same thing. What's your ambitions after high school?
I didn't really know where I wanted to go in life after high school. I figured, why not enlist? I mean, there's nothing saying that I shouldn't or that I can't. Excuse me. I figured, why not, basically. So my plans as of right now, things always change. So maybe later on down the road, it may change. But as of right now, I'm going to serve my time as an Indiana National Guard. And then, I don't know, really. I'm still kind of on the not really for sure what I want to do. I know I want to be a tradesman, do some kind of trade because I like working with my hands. Always been a hands-on kind of person.
Well, that's one thing about going to the National Guard. I mean, my dad was in the National Guard for 30 years. So huge respect for the National Guard and all the military, all the armed forces out there. But going to the National Guard, you can do. I mean, there's Air National Guard. There's there's infantry. There's you can go out and drive a backhoe. I mean, there's that type of trade. They need everything. And I always say the military is kind of like a city. I mean, it's got its own city.
Right.
It has everything from like for instance, you work in a machine shop. They got a machine shop.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Whenever I was trying to go in back in 2012, I was trying to 12 or 13. I was trying to enlist. I was 32 at the time. I was an old guy and I was overweight, and they didn't really. We were at 120% capacity in Indiana, so they didn't really need me.
Right.
But that was what I wanted to do, was go in as a machinist, because I already had the skill. That's what I've done my whole life. And he's in Prosser. Nate Pierce Jr. is in Prosser right now for machining. But at the same time of that, machining I can teach him. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's learning that in Prosser. It's
Right.
It's nice that he's taking on another task.
Well, and the
Getting another
discipline
skill set.
alone that you have in the military.
Right.
I mean, you come from a military background, with your dad being a military Blake, and and I've spoke to your dad, tons of times, and huge respect for him. And
He loves being called Papa Smurf, by the way.
I understand why you are the way you are. Because, your dad is like would probably kill you if you could do anything wrong. So, what made you guys? You guys made a huge decision last year, and the decision of focusing on wrestling and kind of putting football to side.
That's
what
right. Both
made
of you guys.
and that was huge. I mean, and that's a huge decision because I'm sure you guys love football. What made you think I'm going to focus on wrestling and military career right now?
So one night I was just kind of laying in bed and I was watching some wrestling videos, and it came up like below it on YouTube where you can see like other videos you can watch, and there was a motivational speech and stuff like that. One of those videos you can see, and this guy, he was talking and he was like, if you want to get dedicated to something, you've got to put everything you have into that one thing to get dedicated to it. And so I laid there and I thought after watching that video, I was like, I've been thinking about it forever, and I was like, I think I'm going to finally do it. So I thought about it my junior year, and I was like, I'll still play through. And sophomore year, I was thinking as well, but senior year came, and I was like, it's true. I want to dedicate my life to wrestling, because I don't think if I had the chance, I wouldn't do I'm never going to do as good as football as I do in wrestling. So I came to the decision that night. I was like, I'm just going to wrestle. I'm going to drop football and put everything that I have into wrestling. And
you've gone on to work out with Invicta, and you wrestled some tournaments with them, and you've also wrestled with Tank over West Washington, did a couple tournaments with him.
Yeah, they helped me out a lot.
One thing that I have noticed that this season you are a different kid. You are more focused. Whenever I was helping coach you, I always knew when you were going to have a bad day, because you were super nervous. You weren't so outgoing. You're kind of you know, introspective, and it was, you knew that you were getting in your, or we knew that you were getting in your own head, and you were going to have a bad day that day. But whenever you've got your confidence and you've got your head on right, you, especially this season, you've gone out there and killed it. And I think you have the most potential to be a state champion on this team this year.
Yeah, definitely. I really, I knew last year, I knew everybody else knew that I'd get nervous. But this year, I remember I was wrestling in a tournament. I think it was in September by Indianapolis. I forget.
Yeah, I remember whenever you went up there.
The Noblesville.
Yeah, Noblesville.
Noblesville.
That was a huge. The Supreme Killer. It was during October, and I remember the trophy was a Jason match, and I was so dedicated to winning that. And I knew I lost just that thought of being nervous when I walked out to and stepped across the guy that was just massive, like just built all around. And I was like, I'm not nervous. I can beat this guy.
Yeah.
I remember it was a hard, long fought match. It came down to the very last round, and he got an escape on me. And he beat me by 1 point. The final score is 1-0. I remember I was like,
now that right there is, you
That
always talk about these high scoring matches, but when you get to the end of your match and it's 1-0, that was a fight.
Absolutely.
That was a match that you wanted to see.
Me and that kid, we both imposed each other's will against each other.
Yeah.
That was probably by far one of the hardest and longest fighting matches I've ever had in my life.
And what did you learn from that one match?
That it's not about the size, it's not about how big you are, how strong you are. It comes down to the technical stuff and who has the bigger gas tank.
Yeah.
There you go. That gas tank is huge.
Yeah.
That's something that we've always preached. If you can't make it all 6 minutes, if you're exhausted, then you're not going to be victorious on that day.
The person's going to tear you apart.
Right.
Now, Nate, how about you? I mean, you went ahead and focused. You pulled back from football this year and focused more on wrestling and more on military career and things like this. What made you go that direction?
So for me personally, not nearly as deep as Blake's reasoning, but I just felt my love and dedication from playing football personally was just kind of slipping.
Mm-hmm.
I've played it for years, and it's just same old. And I think a lot of that came from my growing love of wrestling.
I had to take a hat off. See your
Couldn't
face.
see him. Couldn't see him.
Couldn't
Didn't know
see
what he
him.
was saying. Couldn't see him.
No, I mean, I want to put it in front of you so I can't see you. But
Chris is over here building blockades
yes,
and moving things around during the interview. So,
But yeah, so I think a lot of that came from when I started wrestling in 8th grade. As the years have gone on, I've just fell more and more in love with wrestling, and just the love for playing football slipped. And I didn't want to be imposing on the coach's time by not wanting to be there.
right.
If I'm not
You're not
actually going
doing-
to try.
he's not doing you any good. You're not doing him any
Right.
good.
I mean, you
It's just-
and
it's
Grayson.
nothing
I mean, I remember back in the day, you and Grayson pretty much started, as the club back in the day together, and then you both kind of just quit, said, "Okay, I'm done with this." Which at that point, I was kind of glad because I can tell you this, it was awful. I mean, for me personally,
that
it
first
was
year at
awful.
club,
but when he came to me in 7th grade and he told me, "Hey, I want to wrestle," I was like, "Oh, great, here we go again," and I thought to myself, "Okay, this is going to be horrible. This is going to suck." Well, then the focus went from that to when you go in from club, which is you might have 12 matches in a day, and you're absolutely spent.
Yeah.
Not just the kids, but the parents too. From
to go into doing just duels. Or
to
something
do
like
a
that for
duels
middle
and
school.
to slow it down.
Yeah, to where there's not a 8-hour day
Yes.
of wrestling.
Yes, it took a turn of going, hey, this is actually really fun, and I've seen you over the that time frame, and I've seen Blake as well, because when you guys were when Grayson was in 7th grade, you guys were in 8th grade. I remember one of the greatest moves ever. Blake has a guy. I think it's still on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
The
got him up in
Superman.
the air.
I have a good picture of that. That
Yeah.
was actually freshman year.
Yeah,
that was- It's like the
Big
kid was
picture on my
blanking
wall.
on Blake. You know,
Yeah.
it was great.
That was at Scottsburg.
Yeah.
That was the Scottsburg
And
invitation.
my wife took the picture.
Yeah.
It was a great picture of him now on my wall.
Yeah, he's got a fat head made
Yeah.
of it too.
Oh, really? That is all awesome.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
awesome.
It's amazing. I look at it every day. I'm like,
Yeah. I
But
did
you know,
that.
I remember that. You know, when you guys were doing that, and you know, it was completely different. And now it's like with the way the team is now. You know, I know all you kids, and you know, just to go out there and I know y'all hear me in the stands screaming.
just,
we
like,
do.
just like they hear me.
Yeah. And you know, and that's one thing that, you know, I want you guys to always remember is no matter what, I'm in your corner. You know, I'm in your corner cheering you on. You know, you know, when you're doing something like, you know, going to military, when you're sitting there and you're having a drill instructor screaming in your ear, I want you to think in the back of your mind, I want you to go, I remember Hunt. I remember him screaming in my ear, cheering me on. And that's what I want you to think about, because you're going to have times during that boot camp where you're going to say, I don't want to be here. But remember, I want you to think about my voice in your head cheering you on, because that's what it's about when it comes to these sports, these kids.
With Nate, what I want him to do is think, well, at least Dad's not going to scream at me on the way home.
Every match, every football game,
no, it's like
something was wrong.
Yeah, don't do nothing right. Get off your hip.
Just
all right,
wait.
go.
Just like when you all
So
become
listen,
dads.
one thing I remember about, like, when we weren't coaching them, when we finally were off duty and we're in the stands, we'd be up there and I'd be sitting next to Chris, because that's our little clique, you know. And I'd be sitting next to Chris and I'd be like, oh, well, you know, he needs to block over here, or you know, he needs to do this or that. And Chris would be like, yeah, do that.
Yeah, and that was before I knew anything. I was like,
Right.
I
So
was just
you
a
know,
repeater at that
watching
point.
him over the years
Yeah.
grow into knowing what you know what's what with the football and wrestling and things, and it was just funny, because I would say, you know, he needs to do that. And, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, just to see you kids and what you are, you know, it's bittersweet for us, you know, as not just for me, but I'm sure it is for
Man,
Nate
I
too.
tell you what, being that this year was my first year taking over announcing the football games.
Yeah.
Seeing my kid's number on that field and him not in it
Yeah.
was a
Right.
hard thing, a hard pill to swallow.
Right.
So
Right.
you know, I understand his reasoning why he didn't want to play football, and I wasn't going to force him to do that.
Right. You know, and the greatest example you said is, you know, you didn't want to have to go out there and to know you're not going to put the effort into it.
And not waste
Exactly.
anybody's time.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's
That when
that's
there's a
huge
kid
decision
right
to make.
behind you that's hungry to play that position.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
that's
get
a huge decision to make, especially when you're, you know,
it's a responsible decision.
we are who we are, and
Right.
we expect them to be out there on that field.
Right, and that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. You know, through these kids, we have grown a community. We have
Yes.
grown a family.
Yes.
With you know, our group of friends and the parents and all the other kids that play and don't play anymore.
Right.
That still walk up and say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" You know, and you know, that's what it's all about to me. So for them to take off a season because they wanted to focus on what they love,
Yeah.
we've got to let them do it.
Absolutely. And you know, and we've known each other forever. So, you know, for you guys to do that, knowing how much your guys' dads love football, and you know, but it shows you that they love you more, because they're going to say, hey, we want you to do what you want to do. We love football,
And
we
we're
love
going to
you playing
support you in
football.
whatever you
We're
want.
going to support you. That's a huge thing for both of you, because there's a lot of kids out there that said, their parents said, hey, you're going to do this. I don't care. I saw it at the tournament the other day.
Yeah.
You know, we were walking out and there was a guy screaming at his kids, why do I spend this money when you do this? And I'm thinking to myself,
You think that kid really wants you to spend that money and get screamed at?
right. And I'm thinking to myself, and I told Gab when I was walking out, I said, I just want you to know, I will never say that.
But you know, those are the parents that are in it for they're reliving their glory vicariously through their kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm probably guilty of that at a point as well. But when it got to a point where he's like, I just am not enjoying this.
Right.
You know, yeah, well, I mean, his first year of wrestling, he wrestled for club, and he was just like, Dad, I don't like it.
Right.
Fine.
That
So
was unfortunate.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's one of those I probably should have pushed on.
Yeah. Well,
But in seventh grade, whenever he
Same
came to me and said, you know, I'm thinking about wrestling again. That was when Curtis Walters took over the
Right.
program, and I thought, wow, you know, that's that was a God rest Curtis's coaching career.
Yes. Oh, no.
No, he's
He-
back.
He's back, but he's doing the club, and he
Yeah.
needs to stay there.
Listen, I love Curtis. You know,
Me too.
Curtis has coached with us a couple times, and you know, we have a good time at Curtis's expense a lot because he is a very motivational. He's also, you know, he's been in the military almost 20 years.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
You know, so
Him and Brett both.
and both first sergeants.
Yep.
You know, and for him he gets motivated. He's trying to get those kids pumped up, but he's trying to do it like like a first sergeant would.
Yes.
And not like,
Yes.
a coach ought to be. And
Yes.
it's like some of the things that come out of his mouth is like, listen, man, we're not carrying around claymores. You can't say that.
But most of the kids look around, they have a bizarre look on their face, like, "What did he just say? I didn't." I look at him half the time and I say that.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
But I found a niche. I found a thing that the kids absolutely love, except my kids. And it's the victory chant. Our big chant.
Yes.
Yes. I have this motivational chant that I get down and do with the kids. It's actually Marine Corps cadence
Mhm.
that I stole, and I
I've done it with you plenty of times.
yeah, and it's
Yep.
called "I Can Run to Haiti."
Yep.
And I'll get down and I'll start running the Haiti chant. They'll scream and repeat it after me, and the kids love it. Matter of fact, there's video of it running around that
Yeah,
year.
with me standing right beside of you, and Grayson's in the background. Wasn't even on the team, and he was going after
Yeah.
us.
So,
He remembered it too.
that's one of those memories that I'll always keep true,
Yep.
and my kids absolutely hate because I would play that in the car, I would play that at home, just trying to motivate a guy, you know.
When you
Listen,
guys-
I remember that song or that cadence word for word still to this day. It is drilled in my nightmare.
Just think, when you go to boot camp, the drill sergeants want to say, Pierce, give me a cadence, and you will
I
right
bet
there.
that don't
boom.
happen.
Don't-
I
don't
bet
do
that
Oh.
don't happen. You are going to get smoked.
There's a difference. There's a difference between Army cadence
Oh, I know.
and Marine cadence.
So what you're saying
God.
is, I should not be sending you postcards saying, go Marine on them or nothing.
No,
I would
listen.
I would-
We are going to send a care package to both of them
Yes.
with snacky cakes and glitter
Chocolate
bombs.
chip cookies.
They're gonna end up in a
Yes. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure that they look through them before they.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I can send you snacky cakes. Your
Yes.
dad told me not to, but I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm sending you patty cakes and little Debbie's. And...
Yes. Yes.
I'll be okay.
I'll be
Yeah, until you start to find
Yeah.
out.
I'll have that hidden stash in the wall.
What is that?
A
I
jelly
remember
donut.
Aren't you a fat body? Oh, yeah, I'm a fat body. Yeah.
Are you allowed to have a
Speaking
jelly
of
donut?
club tonight,
You what?
speaking of club tonight, they are having they're having a match at the school tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it is currently going on.
It is
Yeah.
currently going on right now, and Gavin is being a referee.
Oh, he's gonna hate that.
Well,
remember?
He watched Brady Briscoe do it last week.
Well, the first time Nate refereed for club, he about let a kid get his head ripped off.
Yes.
Because he's watching back here for back points.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the kid's got this kid fish hooked in the mouth and pulling his head off.
Yeah.
There's coaches and moms screaming across
Yeah.
the gym.
Yeah.
In my defense, that back points were right.
Yeah.
back points were
right.
yes.
Listen,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
vouch for that.
The kid now needs a procedure for his upper lip being put back on.
But the back points were right.
Yeah.
The back points were
Yeah.
right.
Back points were right.
Gavin watched Brady Briscoe do it last week, and Brady Briscoe made it through the first round of this kid. And next thing you know, Brady goes, "I'm done." Brady goes, "I'm taking over." And so tonight, Gavin said he wanted to try it. So I'm interested to find out on how he did.
So tomorrow night we've got the MSC Conference Championship that was supposed to be here at Salem, but due to a scheduling issue, we're having to shift it over to Charlestown. I think we're going to try to live stream that.
Yes.
I don't know how that's going to work out since we're both going to have a kid on the mat, but
Well,
and I used to be
hopefully it's
coach,
not going to be
so,
at the same time.
right. So hopefully we can work that out to where you're not just hearing a bunch of screaming and
You're going to hear a bunch
you're
of
going to hear a
screaming. I
bunch of
can
screaming.
guarantee that. Yeah.
Hit that!
Yeah, Get your half! Get your half!
Step over.
Yeah.
So we're gonna broadcast that on the Facebook channel or the YouTube channel and things like that. So
And it starts at 5 o'clock, I think was what the text I got.
Yes.
About five.
Where,
Yeah.
Right
and he
around
said
there.
if we can try to get it to go as early as possible, it
Yeah.
will. But right about 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 'cause it's gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be a long
it
night.
usually is.
How many kids will be in there?
You see every team in the conference. So you're gonna have
So
Charlestown,
Charlestown.
Scottsburg. You're
Corden.
gonna have Corden, North Harrison. Who am I missing?
Eastern.
Salem, Eastern,
Silver Creek.
and Silver Creek.
Clarksville as well.
Clarksville.
They just started their team this year.
Clarksville's not in conference. They're
No, no,
independent
no,
right
no.
now.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah, they
I
just
forgot
went.
about that.
Clarksville stepped out of the conference this year. They're trying to build their programs back up.
There's a total of 6 teams.
Not a bad start.
Yeah.
They've done pretty well so far. I've watched them.
Are we missing somebody? Borden.
Borden's now in us.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
in the MSC.
Yeah, they're not in MSC either.
They're,
They're not in the MSC.
you sure?
No, they're not. You're right.
We
They-
wrestled them.
we do.
but-
Well, they come up for the Super Six.
Right.
Yeah.
and they have they just started their program. In fact, their mat that they use, because we was there last
Well,
night.
this is what, third year for their program.
Third year,
Yeah.
Last night we were there for the middle school meet, and their mat that they use actually was donated by Salem because we were getting a new one,
Right.
and it still has the S on there, but they've actually made it a B. So it's a B reward break. So
So
Yeah.
what do they got? One of our old phones.
they got the old foam mat. Yep.
Okay.
Which Oh,
Boy,
let
that
me
thing's
ask you
hard as
this.
a rock.
No, there's always preferences.
Now,
now-
some people would rather those big rubber mats.
Right. Do you like the rubber mats or do you like the foam ones better?
Like the new foam ones.
The
They're
quick
so
ones.
much easier to roll up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
throw away.
No, I'm not talking
But
about rolling up.
I
I'm
don't
talking about
care.
wrestling.
Comfortability
on.
wise, oh my god, I'd so much rather the foam ones because I have terrible knees.
Uh-huh.
I wrestled your son not last night,
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And nothing against Grayson, but he's just big.
Yeah.
You got
big.
80 pounds.
He
on
got
you.
80 pounds on me. I literally had so we were going through moves. Andy was announcing moves, and he wanted us to do it. Well, I'm 191
Yeah.
pounds going against 270 pound Grayson. Well, he told us to throw a lateral. I lock up for the over under. I look back at Blake, and I just had a face like I'm not doing this. I physically
This
can't
dude
do
is
this.
going to squash me.
I was like,
I
No.
physically can't do this. So
Yeah.
he blows the whistle. I just let go. I was like, I'm not even going to attempt. I'm gonna win now.
I mean, he told me, he goes, I had to wrestle. He goes, I almost killed him. I didn't mean to, but I almost killed him.
Well, it sucks because they don't, having a couple of kids in each weight class is ideal, but you just can't do that. So having to take a 195 that's actually, more like 190
Right.
To wrestle, a 285, which is probably closer to 275.
Right.
Having to work those kids, neither one of them's getting anything out of it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Because they're
sweat.
yeah, except for, sweating all over each other.
Right.
Get on that.
Well, I mean, and that's
But
where I
it is what
encourage.
it is, and that's why the top end is always. It always seems like the big end is always There's where you're lacking. You don't. They're of course they're bigger, so they're going to be a little slower. They're not as nimble and this and that.
But
they can.
what they really need to do, and ISHAA needs to do this.
They need to break up that into 2 more weight
Exactly. They
classes.
need to go from 220 to
They need a
240,
240 and then a 260.
and then go to 285.
And they actually, I think Tank was telling me that they just had a meeting over that and they turned it down, which don't make any sense. And another thing that doesn't make any sense to me is in every other sport, you wrestle your class.
Yeah.
So you got a 1A champ, you got a 2A champ.
Yeah.
In wrestling, it's all together.
Yes.
So you're never going to have a 1A state champ. I mean, if you did, that kid is just immaculate.
Yeah.
Well,
He,
that
he's
kid
gotten
is
more training
probably
just from
Donnie
what he's
Fielder.
got.
Donnie
in high
Fielder.
school.
That kid is probably Donnie Fielder. That's probably the only 1A that is Crawford County a 1A or 2.
I have no clue.
I think they're
but-
1A.
I
Yeah,
no
they're pretty
clue.
small.
They're,
I know they're small.
I think they're a half
I
an
know
A.
they're like,
They're-
I know they were like carrying around like 6 wrestlers.
yeah. And,
I believe it was 5 or 6. Yeah.
a school like that, unless you have a kid like Donnie Fielder that moved in from Pennsylvania, that is, he goes to practice and then him and his dad go to practice after practice.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's, that kid lives, breathes, and eats wrestling.
Right.
That's your chance to have a 1A state champion.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he went to semi-state last year.
Yes.
He went to state.
He may have
Or
been a
not
state
last
qualifier.
year.
I think you're right. I think he was a state qualifier last year.
He was a state.
I know he went to semi-state.
So this kid Donnie Fielder, he wrestles at 113, 106, 106, and this is the most. This kid has 0% body fat. He's the most cut up kid you ever seen, and he's got a little height on him,
Mhm.
but he's still wrestling at 106. So he is as lean as a person can get.
Mhm.
And man, whenever he gets on the mat, he is so impressive. I mean,
He's
so
very
impressive.
he's very technical. He's
I
very.
don't think he's lost a match this year.
I don't believe so either. He's strong. He doesn't look like it because, like you said, he's very tall for a 106. Therefore, he's also very lean. But if you look at some of his physique, like especially in his back is just immaculate.
And to look at the kid, you think 120, 125.
Right.
Oh yeah,
But he's a 106, and
The 106 is squirrely.
that's right. and God help you if you got to go up against Donnie Fielder.
Well,
I think Donnie Fielder could do well in if he stepped up 3 or 4 classes.
Right. Oh yeah, I guarantee it. I mean, you take him from a 106 to a 120. Oh, I mean, you would have, but there's a reason he's a 106.
he's currently ranked number 8. I can't remember where they said he was ranked number 8. I can't remember if it was in the country or what, but he is currently ranked number 8
At 106.
At 106 somewhere, either in the state of Indiana or in the country. So I mean,
And I can easily see that. I mean, the kid is
Yeah.
just, he's
They
amazing.
announced
I haven't seen him
at-
wrestle. I can't say that. I've seen
They
him wrestle.
announced it at one of our meets.
Well, guys, we haven't taken a commercial break all night, so we're going to take one right quick, and then we're going to come back with some motivation, and we're going to wrap this thing up, and we'll get out of here.
Because we
We'll be
could
right
do
back.
this all night.
We can, all night.
Yeah, definitely.
every week of our motivation and our inspiration. Last week I brought in Pastor Jeff Johnson to help out with that, and that worked out really good. But I've got something that's been weighing on my mind, and I kind of want to get it off my chest. And this quote tonight is from somebody named Susie Kasem. The quote goes like this: "Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others." We've had a lot of a lot of buzz going on lately about certain things, and people telling you what you got to do and what you shouldn't have to do, and this and that. And I've been seeing people that are in a more noticeable position, celebrities and things like that, that are some of them are standing up for things that they believe in, and that's something that I feel like we've all got to do. There's a call right now to boycott Carhartt clothing because of a stance that they took, and that people aren't agreeing with, and people are starting to stand up and speak out. The thing about standing up is it's not the most popular thing to do. Whenever you have an opinion and you voice that opinion, there's always somebody that's going to beat you down. But it's what you do with that. It's do you take the whooping and slink away, or do you stand up and fight for what you believe in? These two boys in here tonight, they're signing up to go protect us in these types of situations. So they're going to be those stronger men. They're going to be those sheepdogs that are taking care of the sheep.
Absolutely.
And so I give a whole lot of praise to you guys. It's something I wish I would have done, but we can all take a stand. We can all stand up for what we believe in. We can all, unite. United we stand, divided we fall. That's what this country is built on. If we don't believe in something, we've got to fight. If we've got an opinion and people share that opinion, get together and fight.
There's always that saying also, prove me wrong.
Right.
Prove me wrong.
And
that's huge.
And that's the thing. If you're regurgitating things that are just thrown at you and you take it for fact, you really are doing a disservice to yourself and others around you. If you're not motivating, if your motivations aren't based in fact, you could be doing a lot of damage to the wrong people.
Absolutely.
So, if you've got conviction in your heart about something, stand up for that. Just the same as we talked tonight about these two boys. They decided they did not want to continue with their football career because they wanted to focus on wrestling, and they stood up for that. And they're proving themselves right now. So all I'm saying is, if you believe in something, you have got to have that conviction to stand up for it, or you're just going to get in line,
right,
and do what everybody else is telling you to do. And me personally, that's not a life I want to live.
And that's kind of goes into why Tara she's decided to go ahead and run for prosecutor, because she so believes in standing up for the for the victims. I mean, there's a lot of victims out there that want somebody in their corner, and that's why she decided to go ahead and run for prosecutor.
That's right. And for years I've thought that Tara was the right person for that job. Ladies and gentlemen, Tara Hunt has obviously filed to run for prosecuting in Washington County.
Yep.
And that is, that's a huge undertaking. You've got to be a strong person to do that. And she is that big person that's going to stand up for the smaller person. She's that strong mind.
Yep.
That's going to stand up for the weak.
Absolutely.
And, that's one thing that I've got to give her, all the credit in the world for doing that, because, I've been on both sides of that, and it's one thing that is a thankless job. You know, that's it's
Absolutely.
like being a coach. You know, some people are going to give you praise, but most people are, you know, oh, it's always their fault.
Right.
You know, people don't take personal responsibility anymore. It's always somebody else's fault.
Absolutely. And,
So,
you know, the ones that actually stand up and say, hey, you know what, I screwed up here. You know, that's and actually take that responsibility. They always come out the other side as a better person.
that's right. That's right.
And everyone around them comes out as a better person. The ones that step back and say, oh no, you know, they did this to me, or, you know, that's the ones that will always be the think that they're the victims, and that will be the ones that we will always look at and go, I understand why you only went this far.
Right.
You know.
You know, and you can ask this kid here, you know, around my house, that's one thing I preach: personal accountability. If you're not going to put in the effort, you cannot complain about the results.
Right.
You know, so you've got to take those steps. You've got to put in the work. You've got to stand up. Yeah, and you know, that's, like I said, that's just something that was weighing on my mind, and you know, I'm not gonna, you know, tell you what to believe or what to think.
You gonna start crying on me?
That's your that's
my
your,
job.
That's your
I'm
forte.
sorry.
I don't cry. I'm not for everybody that cries. But you know, it convicted me tonight that I needed to say something. Whenever you're trying to force a group of people to do something that the majority don't want to do, and you know, I'm seeing the majority from my perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just one side of this card. You know, I don't want to get political about anything. I'm just saying, if you are so convicted, you've got to stand up for yourself.
Right.
You know, personally, I think political parties are gang warfare, and it all ought to be outlawed. But, you know, we can go over that on a different show. But you know, it's just we we have got to, as a nation, as a people, just as human beings, we've got to be human beings. So we might as well be the best human beings we can. You know.
You know, I was watching this. There's a YouTube channel that I didn't even know existed until the other night. It's called Yes Theory, I think it's called. You guys heard of it? You guys ever heard of it? Well, apparently 66 million other people have heard of it. So, and they have this shirt that I really want to get one. It's called Seek Discomfort. And what they do is they go out and they seek, you know, discomfort in the standpoint of going, okay, get out of your little bubble,
right,
to see what everything else is going on.
Well, I'm gonna mention another YouTube channel that I watch a lot, and it's called Bear Independent. And his big thing is do the hard things.
Yes.
Do the hard things right now.
Right.
While you still got the chance, and you don't have to do them.
Absolutely.
Because whenever you have to do the hard things, then that time is not the time to be learning them.
Right.
You know, so that's why, and I know you've seen it in the last several years, I've started getting back into the old ways. You know, I've been teaching myself how to can. We've been gardening and things like that. You know, those are things that I watched my grandparents do growing up, and I thought, man, that sucks. You know, that's a lot of work.
It is.
But then once I get into it, and it is a lot of work, and it does suck, but there's a good reason for it. You know?
I just went through my last can of beans, green beans the other day, and it was sad. It was
it's like I
that's my last
did this.
can. That's my last quart of beans.
Like, listen, the first time I bought a bottle of Welch's grape juice and I turned that into jelly, I was so proud of myself. I kept telling everybody, I'm going to make somebody a great wife one of these days. You know? It's just, you know, I felt accomplished, you know, and it's just like we were mentioning before the broadcast. I got some ducks given to me by, you know, Spletchaki. You know, he was having a heck of a time with them, and he's got 35 kids, so that's But my ducks have finally started laying eggs, and I was just so stoked about that, you know. And,
we're gonna eat this right now.
Yeah. But you know, that's one of those things that I decided I was convicted enough that I wanted to learn that stuff and I wanted to do that stuff. So, like you said, force yourself into discomfort. That way, maybe you can be comfortable with discomfort.
Right. Because sitting on your butt watching TV every day.
Well,
that's
sitting on your butt and watching all this stuff go down.
Right.
And complaining about it on Facebook does nothing.
Absolutely.
For
Yes.
You know, your voice can be heard, but it can be ignored just as easily. Right. whenever you're a thorn in somebody's side, that's when you're going to start having people pay attention to you.
Right.
So that's one thing that I've always believed in is, stand up for what you believe in, and if you can, help others that can.
Yeah.
If they can't stand up for themselves, help them stand on their own
Absolutely.
feet. So, well, guys, that's all the time we got tonight. I know we got a little way out there on the motivation tonight, but it was something I felt like I needed to say, and hopefully some of you guys agreed with me, and hopefully if you didn't, maybe you take what I said into an open mind and with a grain of salt, and just think on that a
Just
little
think
bit.
about it. Yeah.
Just think about it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we will catch you guys tomorrow night, broadcasting live from.
It's gonna be
Charleston.
awesome.
Oh, it's going to be great. MSC Championship. So.
Yeah. Fireworks. Yes.
Yeah,
Fireworks.
fireworks. So if not, we will catch you back here next Wednesday, and hopefully I will have the coach of the swim team, because I really want to get them on the show, because that was the whole purpose of doing the winter session, so that we can reach out and get
Sports is not recognized as very
right. I want to get
as much.
recognition for those
Right.
winter sports. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you back here, and I'll see you on the radio next Wednesday.
I see you. God bless.